Hey everybody, welcome in. It's Friday. Thank you all for coming. This story today is about how oversold Bitcoin is. We're going to do something a little bit different today as well. Start in different order. We'll also talk about some CleanSpark rumors. Their earnings call is on in about 20 minutes. I'll be done before that. And let's try to figure out where we're going from here. By the way, it's the weekend. Bitcoin normally goes up on the weekends. And typically, like clockwork, the markets close and then 20 minutes later, Bitcoin's up $300. It's as if people can't trade traditional stocks. They start trading Bitcoin all of a sudden. Fascinating. Anyway, let's jump in. Crypto market still has a 2.1 trillion volume. It was kind of a little under 19 billion, if I remember correctly. A little lower than it was the previous day. And fear and greed is back up to 48. We knew that would bounce too. And anything I say here is not financial advice. And thank you to the mods in the chat as well. Sean Donnelly, TND, Tesla, K8, and everybody else. And of course, Patreon. And Jamie Winder, new to Patreon. Hello, Jamie. Good to see you. Welcome in. And the Great Escape out there in the UK. I'm going to start with the charts because the charts tell most of the story and will dispel some of the fear that's out there. And I've made, since 2021, I started making videos here for you all. I made a few videos on the Bitcoin death cross. The term scares the hell out of people. And everybody's like, oh, the death cross is coming. We're all going to die. What are we going to do? And here you see it. Vitruvian Maniac, thank you for coming. Bitcoin facing imminent death cross. Flames, explosions, terror. Let's look at some numbers. Let's break it all down. And a reminder as well. We'll look at some of the previous death crosses. June 26, 2021. And there's not that many. There's only 6 or 7 in total in the history of Bitcoin. Price at death cross 34,000. The golden cross date was July 27, 2021, a little bit afterwards. And of course, Bitcoin went up. The price went up 6,000 after the death cross. September 23rd, 2021. Price at death cross 44,000. A few weeks later, 68,000. Price went up 24,000. And January 8th, 2022, price at death cross, 42,000. A few weeks later, 45,000. So again, especially in a bull market, everybody, don't freak out about the death cross for the 100th time. I guess fear sells. That's why everybody talks about it. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's talk about how oversold Bitcoin is using one of our charts. And zoom out and try and get a big picture of where we are. This is actually a combination of models. Typically what my screen looks like all the time. ATR on the top, mean reversion on the bottom. If we look at the mean reversion, focus on the little green triangle. We are more oversold. We were on August 5th and August 6th than we have been the whole year. Okay, put that in perspective. It was a nasty, volatile week. We all got kicked in the teeth because of the carry trade and all the fear and da-da-da-da-da happening. Anyway, the beauty of it, though, is the retracement did align with historical cycles, down about 35%. And after that, there is always potential for a rebound. Expect choppy trading in the coming weeks, and the market will be choppy. It is August. Volume's a little lower than normal. But again, when you look at the rest of crypto, all of the rest of crypto hit on average a 50% retracement level from its previous rise. So Bitcoin not as bad off as the other crypto names. And we do expect a little bit of resistance here between 60 and 63K. We need to get through 63K to go on to the next level up from there. Now, the market is unlikely to make new lows, so don't panic, everybody. Once it happens, it's done and we're up from there. And we saw that pretty clearly. It was a very fast V-shaped recovery. Thank you, Mr. Mike. So everybody hang in tight. And remember, a lot of people are talking about how they could get a nasty low in September. I am of the opinion the cycle has been moved forward 1 month. So we're getting the September crap in August. Get it out of the way early. And it happened early August too. So I think we've seen the worst of it, everybody. And let's look at some more data to support these points. I always try and find multiple kind of points, data points, charts, etc. that support where we are going. Not just one, but a few. Let's look at this one. Now, Vivek, he shared something on Twitter and then promptly deleted it. I'm not sure why, but it got my attention. I saw it long enough to see he shared a chart of Bitcoin over M1 breaking out, I decided to replicate that chart myself. And here it is. This is Bitcoin divided by M1. And I hear you ask, what is M1? Well, M1 is the total amount of physical currency and coin, demand deposits, traveler's checks, and other checkable deposits circulating in an economy. It's everything. All money. Not like M2, which is like cash floating around. M1 is everything, including deposits, which can be made by banks and other players as well. If we look at this chart, though, and we go back all the way to 2015, 2017, you can see here there are times when Bitcoin actually underperforms M1, it goes down, and there are other times it goes up. Overall, it goes up, and it's going up more. Now, the important thing to know is just look at the chart since 2023. It's up and to the right, pretty much blue. You know what else is going to go up and to the right? M1. That means Bitcoin is going to go up and to the right more. That's the way I interpret this data. Money printing is happening. It's going into high gear. It's going to float all boats. So for those of you who are afraid and hoping for a retracement back to 30,000, the famous Peter Brand said it's possible to go sub 40 again. I don't see it happening. And I'll show you more proof points. That's Bitcoin over M1. This one, long-term holders are stacking hard. Despite the crazy dip to 49K, long-term Bitcoin holders were unrattled. Okay, these are the I don't know the name of the meme, but there's a guy on a roller coaster looking back, hands in the air, chill as a cucumber, doesn't care. This is what the long-term holders know. They know where this thing is going. They know things like this, that support where it's going. A rising tide will float all those boats, and the long-term holders are stacking hard. They bought over 185,000 Bitcoin, worth over $10 billion during the recent dip. $10 billion. We'll talk more about the size of money and how that equates to typical retail DCAers in Bitcoin in a few minutes. We'll get to that too. Also, another view of how much they are stacking. Again, large holders accumulate 84,000 in July, the highest since 2014, going back 11 years, ladies and gentlemen. This is saying something rather special. Now, I know we have the ETFs there too, which are a big tailwind for this whole space, but it's all goodness. Let's check out liquidation and where we are with the liquidation levels. Are we going up or down from here? If I was a market maker and I wanted to grab somebody's coin, I'd go after those that are short to the right, not the leverage longs to the left. The ones to the right are closer. Now, the liquidation is clear between 59,600 and 60,900. And by the way, I put this together about 3 hours ago when we were at 60,000. We're up $900 from that point. Now we're 60,800. And I knew they would hunt to the right. That's why I look at these charts. It's easier reach to liquidate those on the right too. Also, there's some Binance spoofing happening like they normally do too, but trying to keep a lid on price action, but that'll disappear as well. So watch for that too. And to prove what a fragile world it is, shout out to the team at Blockware. They had this beautiful little chart together. And I always talk about the world being kind of a house of cards, you know, burdened by debt. There's that burdened word again. But the tiny little rate hike of 25 basis points caused the biggest market crash since 1987. Now, can you imagine if there was a bigger rate hike? Wow, that's how fragile these things are. That's why you need your life raft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into some of the news real quick. Charts first, news second. And again, politics and Bitcoin are now inextricably linked. There was a big meeting in the White House yesterday. The White House, the existing kind of U.S. management team, let's call them, they wanted to invite insiders so they can embrace crypto leaders, get closer to them, so they can win the crypto vote come November. But again, per the flies on the wall, insiders described yesterday's meeting between the White House and crypto leaders as heated, with crypto executives lashing out over the SEC's regulatory assault on the whole space. And then the officials, government officials, said, like they asked a question, I can't remember the exact words, but in response to somebody asking, we weren't trying to cut the industry off from the financial system. A crypto executive, it's probably Tyler or somebody else, asked for a show of hands from those that were denied banking services due to White House policies, and nearly all raised their hands. This has been extremely heated. And the left is trying to repair the reputation with the crypto space. I don't know if they can, especially after yesterday's meeting. But kudos to them for trying to reach out. However, Tyler did say this. He's asking, I understand that she's on the campaign trail, but the meeting was virtual. All she needed was an internet connection. So yes, the left is reaching out to the crypto people, but the leadership of the left is not interested. So take that as you may. But there is some good stuff happening, at least in California, doing something right. Santa Monica set up a Bitcoin office, and it's dedicated to educating the community on the transformative potential of Bitcoin in partnership with Proof of Workforce Foundation. And they're committed to providing education about Bitcoin for the residents of Santa Monica. I mean, can you imagine? This goes beyond Santa Monica City to many other places in the country and the world where local governments are educating people on Bitcoin. I think this is a really cool step in the right direction, especially like Santa Monica has a lot of very old, wealthy people. If they start allocating a little bit to Bitcoin, that could be quite impactful and also preserve their futures and their kids' futures as well. We shall see. Now, back to the big elephant in the room, CleanSpark. They delayed their earnings yesterday, and the world was up in arms saying, what is happening? This is from Shelley. Shout out to Sanjay as well for sharing. I think CleanSpark is in an M&A deal, mergers and acquisitions. Either they're buying something or somebody's trying to buy them. In the case of dilution, you wouldn't bother to shift it by a day. So the question is, what's going on? There's lots of other chatter happening out there as well. This from Bitcoin Pete. Sounds like some really bad news is coming, especially if they're ignoring putting out an explanation to investors explaining the delay. Very suspicious behavior. We may even see a trading halt on Friday until they spill the beans. That didn't happen, by the way. There's no trading halt. CleanSpark, however, is down today a little bit. And let me see if they're down a little bit on after hours. I think they were last time I checked. And where is CleanSpark? And as I always say, miners are a cutthroat business. CleanSpark, there it is. CleanSpark is down 20 cents in after hours. Not a big deal. But other stuff out there, seeing unsubstantial rumors that CleanSpark is buying Cypher, my gut says this is unlikely. I don't see either team giving up control of their operation in any significant way. As shareholders, I think we are better off with two independent companies, but stranger things have happened. So nobody knows what's going on. Something could be amiss. It's not good for a company to delay reporting earnings. But if they are in the middle of something big, then that's a valid reason. And I have looked at the production numbers for CleanSpark for the month of July, and they were good. The second best miner out there in terms of most productive. And they're also one of the most efficient miners too. So we do know that consolidation is going to happen in the space. There'll be a lot more M&A activity. Cypher is a very good shop, very lean and mean miner, but they do have a cash problem, which concerns me too. So we'll see. And the earnings call is on in about 5 minutes. So hopefully we'll wrap up in 5 minutes and get on over to that. Let's talk about the Bitcoin. Only videos are here. By the way, I will be doing a Solana video in about 2 hours because you guys want it. So it'll be coming. This is called the Bitcoin black hole. One observation I think is quite stunning. BlackRock have sucked in $20 billion in about 140 days. $20 billion. That's an average inflow. They have 0 outflow days. $140 million per day. The average weekly dollar cost averaging for a retail investor is $50 a week. Okay, a week. If we calculate BlackRock's daily inflow, that is the combined weekly investments of approximately, or combined daily investments of approximately 20 million retail investors, which is stunning to think about. BlackRock are just massive, and they're bringing a lot of money into the space. And there's only signs that I see of that accelerating from here, not slowing down. Not slowing down. And yesterday we had a pop, a very strange pop. Wisdom Tree, which is BTCW down second from the bottom, had $120 million inflow. BlackRock, $160 million. Fidelity, $65.2 million. Big, big day. And this is kind of crazy. The net flow since the launch of these on January 11th of this year is over 300,000 Bitcoin. But people say, isn't it more than that? Well, technically, yes. Remember, BlackRock have sucked in 341,000 Bitcoin. Fidelity, 196,000. Grayscale, this is the wild card here. Grayscale went from 620,000 Bitcoin to 236,000 Bitcoin. Grayscale shed nearly 400,000 Bitcoin. That's a big dump. So that's Grayscale. And yesterday, nearly 3,200 Bitcoin were pulled in by the ETFs yesterday, which is net of a huge dump as well by Grayscale. And here you can see money flow, the reversal back up, positive 200 million bucks. And I did tweet out yesterday as well, Grayscale stinking up the place. Their mini trust couldn't save them. They had the biggest drop, the biggest dump since April 8th. But don't worry, as I said yesterday, and this is right at the market close, because a Grayscale report first. I said Fidelity is overdue for a big buy because you can see here the gaps in Fidelity. They didn't buy in a long time. They dumped since the 29th of July. Down. No inflow. And I said it was overdue for an inflow. As it turns out, they had 65 million yesterday. And of course, IBIT always delivers. They always buy 140 million a day on average. So for those who are still bearish, there's simply not enough Bitcoin to go around. These 9 ETFs alone are pulling in 3,000 Bitcoin a day and only 450 are being mined. It's bonkers. Thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hit the like if you learned something new. These stats are incredible. Thank you as well. American Beijinger, TND Tesla, Sean Donnelly, long-term holder, and K8 and everybody else. Have a good day. I'll see you back in about 2 hours. Bye-bye.